See, this is how absolutely out of practice I am. Title card's still up. This is what we do. But brother, we're back. Did you know we're back, brother? It's April 28th, 2025. You don't know who we are. You know why we're here, but you don't know why we're here, but you know who we are, but you don't know who we are. So this is another cheaply made vignette just for you, because there's a third man on this show who's not here now. He'll be here eventually, but not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. But you know who he is, but maybe you don't know why he's here. But one day he'll be back, brother. And one day he's going to change the world just like we changed the world back in 1995. And this is the world that we live in, brother. And this is all the. Can we talk about this horse shit? Can we talk about this? Hi, welcome in the league. You know who I am. You know who he is. Jeremy Lambert's here. I'm here. Let me put my colors back on. What an awful, awful, awful segment to wake up to. Jeremy, I miss talking about gorillas versus 100 people because what I woke up to this morning, for those who haven't seen it, was Eric Bischoff, that old ass, Hulk Hogan, that old crippled ass. Sorry, cripple's a bad word to use. I'm sorry, that wasn't right. That old asshole standing in front of a poorly lit studio back lot like they were doing an NWO vignette in 96, saying nothing and thinking it was the hottest shit ever. These 70-year-old, nearly octogenarian people thinking this is it. Jeremy Lambert, we're back, but you don't know why we're here.
I would have done the black and white gimmick if you had given me a heads up to like change my camera to black and white.
I don't want to surprise you. I still got it in me, baby. Barely. I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Do you have any idea who this third man is? Because I have a guess.
I think it's Rodman. I just think they're going to bring Rodman in and it's going to be I don't even know if it's going to be like so wrestling related as much as it's just going to be like them doing like a weed thing, because everyone's got to do a pot thing. Everyone's got, or a jewel thing, whatever. It's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a wrestling company. I don't think it's going to be wrestling management because nobody wants to attach their names to these guys. Someone saying Conrad in the chat, like that's possibility if it's a podcast, sure. But then it's going to be the Hogan, the Hogan Tells Lies podcast and Bischoff just smiles and nods. Who cares? What did you think? Who do you think it's going to be? What do you think this is?
So Conrad was my first thought. It was him, but then Bischoff mentioned, and I know they're just doing like dumb teases to do dumb teases, but like all the championships this person has won. I mean, Conrad's got like championships, but isn't like he's just acquired them, right? He hasn't like.
Well, he's won podcast awards.
Okay,
and he has like a podcast championship belt for him and Pritchard's show. He used to show that off.
Okay, and the tease was also like all the athletes he's taken to like the top level and everything. And obviously you can surmise that Conrad is taking people to a high podcasting level. So Conrad was one thought. My real thought is Diamond Dallas Page.
I was about to say, when you said the athletes thing, I was like, it's DDP. So we can go, bro, just for 3 hours on a show. I think you got a good one. Yep.
Yeah, those are my thoughts. I think it's something to do with DDP or Conrad. Who could possibly give a fuck about Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff? Sorry, I'm less than 5 minutes in doing an NWO bit in 2025. Like, what are we doing, dude? This is why he got booed, though. He's a heel.
Not you specifically. Eric has shown time and again that there's one good idea that he used one time and he's just recycling it over and over again. He's done it billions of times. He's done it in TNA. He's done it with the NWO coming back to WWE. He's done it everywhere he could go. He's done a variation on it. The Band, that was the TNA one. There was always something that was the black and white overthrowing the stables, whatever. It was never good. And now he's just trying to do it again because now he's going to say, brother, it's nostalgia. Everyone loves nostalgia. And don't get me wrong. I walked around WrestleCon in Vegas. The nostalgia is huge. People love all these wrestlers from the past. They pay money to get the photos and the autographs, and it's fine. I get it. But like, Jesus Christ, we eventually are going to have to move on from these old heads. And we're never going to, because unfortunately, the nostalgia, for every person I saw wearing a present day WWE t-shirt in Las Vegas, I saw someone wearing a Hulkamania something or other. And I was like, all right, well, first of all, it was always the same looking person, so I wasn't sure if it was the same guy just following me around. But there was always someone wearing something Hulkamania. And I was like, are you just, well, why? Who are you? Why do you all look the same? But instead, it's just, I saw this teaser and I was like, no, it's too early for this. And I'm on very minimal sleep, so was not good for anybody. Let me tell you what's good. Let me tell you what is good. And then we can bury it some more. Leaving a thumbs up is a good thing. That's a good thing to do. So on a Monday morning, and it's marvelously Monday, on April 28th, 2025, the pyro and the ballyhoo is coming. I promise it is. There it is. It's ready and it's on time for you. Leave a thumbs up on the video. If nothing else, in the first 6.5 minutes, I was burying whatever the hell that vignette was. And you can also subscribe to the channel. Get us a little bit closer to our goals and our aspirations and our dreams. You can donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or statement read on the air. We appreciate it. It pays my Uber bills from when I was away and the time that I was off the show. Shout out to SB3 for real. I know I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. He saved my ass last week on Thursday, and on Friday, I was capital D down. I know Jeremy was sick during Mania week. I appreciate that you came to work sick. I was in bed, out, done, could not move for those 2 days. I got to my desk for the first time after Wednesday's show. I didn't come back to my desk until Saturday afternoon. That's how done I was. Tried to be dad, but I was also like just low energy, couldn't do much, had a high fever, hot-blooded, check it and see, had a fever of 103. But we're good now. We're back. And we'll take on the week. By the way, next Monday I might not be here.
Why?
I'll be in Ottawa, but I'm actually probably going to be on. I'm going to do the show. I'm just going to be in a remote location. I just wanted to mess with you. I just wanted to mess with you first.
You owe about like 2 weeks time right now.
I owe time?
Yeah.
This don't pay enough for owing time.
Fair.
We work for the time.
Fair.
By the way, also shout out, when I did my DDP impression in front of Noelle Foley, she immediately understood who it was, and the person next to her was like, no, that's Russo. And she's like, no, you idiots. That ruled. She knew it was Diamond Dallas Page. Oh my goodness. Here we are. It's Monday. I got Moana reshoots to do. See you on the next one, brother. Go be a fan. Things of that nature.
Okay.
I'm just getting through it. So I'll preface this. So yeah, I'm aware of a lot of the stuff that's going on in Japan with the women leaving. I know that that's going to be an SB3 story because he was covering all the stuff going on. So I'm gonna leave that to him. But one thing I did do with SB3, and if he's in the chat, he can confirm this. It was that when you guys were giving your predictions for Rebellion, I think both of you said that Tessa was going to beat Masha Slamovich. And then I DM'd SB3 and I said, I think Masha's retaining the title. And he said, well, what gives you that idea? And I explained to him how I knew or what I knew. And it happened. Masha did retain. And Tessa is not the Knockouts champion as of right now. So I found it very interesting. As we kind of we'll do a little bit of Rebellion talk. I don't need to go too deep, but there's a post show. Myself, I can speak, I promise. Cresta Star and Steven Jensen did a full-on post show, an hour and a half over on the main channel of a pretty good pay-per-view, not an amazing one, but it had moments. But yeah, Masha and Tessa was something that people thought was a no-brainer. Turns out, yeah, Tessa wasn't winning that Knockouts title after all. Jeremy, All is right with the world again. Mostly because I was right.
The crowd chanted for John Cena and CM Punk in this match.
Did they ever? They didn't care. And I can tell you who they didn't care for. It wasn't the champion. They love that champion. That's when you know you have a larger problem on your hands, because the hate has turned to apathy. And that's when you know you don't have heat. You got a bored ass crowd. When I started hearing "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," I was wearing, whenever I watch wrestling, I'm wearing these headphones, these big ass cans. And I did this. I was like, there's no way. They were chanting, "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." And I said, this crowd doesn't care. They started with "she's a racist." And of course, Tessa did the whole like, yeah, so what? You know, this is heat. And then they turned into apathy. And I was just like, well, if that doesn't tell you the story, I don't know what will. And Masha retained. That was it. You want to know what the big moment, that kind of my light bulb moment for this thing was, Jeremy?
What's that?
The Johnny Rods beatdown that they never showed.
Yeah.
They've done the digital exclusive, and I know you made fun of me about the whole, what you air on digitals versus what you air on TV. Hey, get it. That's fine. I'll take the razzing. But in this case, when the system did their 10 minutes before the show, they aired the promo on socials, they still made reference to it on the actual show that week. The week when they did that with Tessa going to New York and beating up Johnny Rods and all that, they made no mention of it. They didn't even put it, was on the back burner, never mentioned. Suddenly that entire story just off a cliff. And I said, oh, they don't want to put any heat behind it, because I don't think they want to put any new victory behind Tessa. They don't want to give her that moment. And that's what they did. They had Masha go over. She retained the title, and that was it. I was not surprised. I was pleasantly happy to see it. But that's kind of the one bright shining point of that entire show.
Tessa tapped out. I thought it was funny.
She tapped out hard too. It was real fast.
She's gonna win that title eventually, so I'm not like gonna celebrate.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it at that for now. I don't know.
Did you see Maclin?
Which part?
He did a lot of media this week, and he was asked.
Oh, did I ever see that?
So I forget who it was with. I apologize to the outlet. But they did like the word association.
I'm gonna pull it up while you're talking about it. Yeah.
All right. They did like the word association thing. And so it was like Joe Hendry, and Maclin's like, oh, I believe. And they asked some other people. I don't remember all his answers, but they ask Tessa Blanchard, and he just goes, pass.
So he's talking to Lee Med from Med in the Morning on a live 107.3 in Dumfries, Scotland. And the video popped up, and yeah, it's out there. You can find it. Sean did retweet it. It's made the rounds.
Bless Maclin, he rules.
Hey man, what's the old saying? My mom always said, if you got nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. That's what Maclin decided to do. Good for him.
We should get Maclin on the show and do partner promo punch in the face and give him certain options.
I mean, I'm going to see him at the end of this month or the end of next month, because it's still April. But for the longest time,
Razzo, Jordan Grace, and Tessa Blanchard partner promo punch in the face.
Oh God. Oh, chat's like, do it. No, I can't wait. There's a certain level of respect that I have for that. Yeah, that segment was very funny. That little part of the interview, the Maclin interview that I talked about, it's finally up over on the main channel. Maclin and I spoke at the end of February before the international championship stuff, and yeah, the guy, I had a few people kind of reach out to me and just be like, I don't understand why Maclin stays in TNA. And I said, this dude loves the work he's doing where he is. And you can tell. And not only does it show in the work that he's doing that he loves it and he wants to push it forward, but also he finds leverage in it from a financial position. You can tell that like he's smart about when he wants to get his money and when he wants to get his spot. And I appreciate that. It's kind of one of the things that I've always said with Maclin is that when he and I didn't agree with how he was being presented in TNA, we at least saw each other's points, and he turned me around on it because he's very good at what he does. So regardless, Maclin on that interview was hilarious. Last night at the show, he was very good, split his head open for the love of the game. Him and EY had a short sprint of a match that's still telling their story. That I don't know when that's going to end. I assume it's going to go all the way to Slammiversary at this point, but they introduced a chain at the end of it and they choked out Maclin. So feels like Northern Armory and Maclin with two friends will be the next matchup that'll be in Toronto. And then maybe they'll do a dog collar match at Slammiversary. I think it's going to be a loaded going from pay-per-view to pay-per-view. If that's the story they're telling, I think they're going to load that pay-per-view up with just a bunch of crazy ass stuff. And a dog collar match, that just might be it, or some sort of like the chain will be the story point that brings them together. But other than that, it was a solid little match that they put together in the time that they had.
Oh, that was a good match. And on the subject of Maclin and like, why is he staying in TNA? I mean, we talk about all the time. There's only so many spots and so many companies. Like, he goes to AEW. Where does he fit in? I think he could fit in somewhere, but they only got so many spots. He goes to WWE. I think he'd be great in the NXT men's division, and they need some help. They need some strong people at the top of the card. And I think he could be great there. Main roster, like, that's a pretty loaded main roster right now. TNA, he's going to be at a good position on the card, and he's going to get his ideas through as well. Does he get his ideas through in AEW? Does he get his ideas through in NXT? We've talked about this for years of some people just don't want to sit in catering and do nothing. Some people don't want to sit at home and do nothing. They want to, creative people want to be creative. And TNA has the position to allow him to be creative. So that's going to mean more to him than going to NXT, and maybe he's at a good spot in the main card on NXT, but maybe he's not getting to get his ideas. Maybe he goes to AEW and he's just a guy who has some matches, but he doesn't get to do like the stuff he wants to do. TNA gets to do the stuff he wants to do. So as long as he's happy, that's all I care about for Steve Maclin, his happiness.
Yeah, absolutely. You and Deanna. Those are the only two people who care about his happiness. I just want him to work. But I will say this, he and EY have a lot of say in their story and in the creative. Not sure I would have went with, hey, let me roofie you on TV to get us to this pay-per-view match, but I'm not in the room. I'm just a fan, right? I just got to sit back and take it for what it's worth, and I can't be in the room with them. But that was one moment where I was like, what'd he do? Okay. It was fine. let them up the ante. I'm sure someone will set a car or a house on fire just to up the game a little bit. They're competing with Ali and Santana for the A story at this point, because they're two diametrically opposed stories still being very entertaining in different ways, and I really do appreciate that. But that was the match of the night, was Ali and Santana, to the surprise of absolutely nobody. They had a false count anywhere match that absolutely ruled. If you're going to watch one match from this show, that's the one to watch. I continue to say it time and time again. That's your Slammiversary main event. Ali deserves to somehow win the world title. Don't care how he gets there because he lost last night, but that doesn't mean he can't weasel politic maybe his way into a title shot and beat Joe Hendry for the title going into July and Slammiversary. Do it as early as Thursday. Really turn on the gas. Let's get that going, because that was an amazing match. Really solid stuff. Good storytelling in that. I think those two continue to have incredible chemistry together.
Joe Hendry's holding that title until Slammiversary.
Stop it. No, he's not. Him and Elijah have to have the inevitable blow up that they think is such a big deal.
No, I think they're going all the way with Joe Hendry, all the way to Slammiversary.
To face who? To face Ali, so Ali can beat Joe Hendry?
Nah, some 6-man. I don't know. Or sorry, not 6-man. Sorry, some triple threat or something.
What a waste. What a waste. Yeah, go ahead.
I think they're going with Hendry. I don't know. Dude was on WrestleMania.
He's such a curious case for TNA because I don't even know how to explain this anymore, but it's like Joe Hendry appears, no pun intended, and he gets himself over, but it's often at the expense of TNA when he does it in WWE. So he shows up on NXT last week, and we talked about this. He made literally one little passing reference to the TNA pay-per-view. Didn't mention that his opponent was in the building, and that they couldn't do a face-off with Ethan Page. They kept them completely apart. Don't know why. And that was it. And he showed up at WrestleMania, and TNA was ecstatic that they had their title on the show, and and then the 3-minute discourse started and blah blah blah, and like most men were like, oh, it can last longer than 3 minutes, and their wives were like, well, I don't know about that, honey. But the point is, they got to the end of the match, and Joe Hendry was happy, and TNA was happy, and I don't think anyone was buried per se. I don't think the TNA world title, from whatever stage you see it from, looked any better than it did coming in. I just think that Joe Hendry, who is the champion of TNA, therefore the ambassador for TNA, not the WrestleMania appearance, I'm literally focused just on the NXT appearance, doing that doesn't make TNA look better to me. I don't know, someone in the chat asking, is TNA selling more tickets because of Joe Hendry? I think that they are still an ensemble cast. I think Hendry pushes tickets. I think the Hardys do massive business for them. I say that time and again. You're going to see they're going to be in Toronto for Under Siege. And I can tell you 2 men who are not going to be in Toronto, or at least one of them who are not going to be in Toronto for Under Siege. And we'll see what the ticket sales are like. Hendry will sell tickets. We know this. He's over. The crowd loves him. Presentationally speaking, he's not the A1 story. And that's something that kind of gets lost on a lot of people. Is just how he's presented as champion. And you and I've talked about this for so long that it's just he's not the guy, but somehow he's still their guy. It's mind-boggling in a way.
He is the guy. They just don't make him the guy.
He told me in that interview, there's a time for concerts and there's a time for serious whatever, and I'm like, well, you were doing concerts literally the entirety of your title reign. You opened up with a concert, you then did another concert the week after, then you won and you had another concert. Like, it's not whatever it is, it's just not working. So I found it a little strange. It's not that I don't like Joe Hendry. I actually really appreciate the work that he does, and I think that he's very popular with crowds. I just haven't found that continued source that makes me want to, continue cheering for Joe. It feels like he's, what it was? I said it last night on the post show. It feels like senioritis. He's doing his victory lap. It's true. It feels like he's doing his victory lap in TNA because he knows where he's going for college. Like, he knows he's going to NXT and to WWE. He knows. Everybody knows. So he's just kind of going with the motions. And then he's going to move over, and he'll be what he is in another pond. And the main event match was very, that's not the first time I've said this, very WWE 2010 episode of Superstars type of main event match. It wasn't great, wasn't bad. It was serviceable. There were other matches that were stronger that propped up the card.
That Fireman's Carry slam to the table Kazarian took, though, it sucked.
It was an AA, Jeremy.
Oh, sure. They called it something else, though.
No, Tom Hannafin called it an attitude adjustment. He called it an AA. Yeah, he did. Yeah, they knew what they were trying to get over there.
Okay. I like that Joe Hendry like teases a bunch of stuff, and like maybe it comes true. I don't know. But he's like, someone with a bust wants to show up to Rebellion. I guess Trick has a bust now. Good for him. A musical star might have reached out to corner me against John Cena and Travis Scott. All right, maybe. Maybe he's just like talking about like AJ Francis. Like AJ Francis messaged him like, "Hey, brother, we should do business together against John Cena and Travis Scott."
I would pay top dollar for that one.
That'd be funny. I don't know. Like, I like Joe Hendry. I think that the flaws he has shown is on the company just as much as it's on him. I don't give him anything. When your top challengers coming off your title win are Frankie Kazarian and a hodgepodge cage match that the main story was the Nemeth and the Hardys, it doesn't scream to me like you knew what you were doing with him. They didn't have a good story for him coming off the title victory. And I don't blame him for that. You got to figure it out. You got to understand what you have and figure it out. And they just decided, Elijah, good luck.
They didn't even do anything with Elijah. They had him show up and be friends, but then not. It's weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was the main stuff. Is like, here's Elijah. Do a duet with him.
Then Frankie Kazarian called a shot.
Yeah, like, they didn't have a good main story for him. Like, Eric Young would have been a good challenger coming off of the title win. That's at least Eric Young had some heat behind him after the Josh Alexander turn and having Northern Armory and everything. Eric Young in 2025 isn't like the most inspiring person in the world, but at least there was some actual heat behind him. There was no real heat with bringing in Elijah and making him the backdrop for a Hardys and Nemeth feud.
Yeah, no, it was a decision they made. Elijah was on the pre-show, did an open challenge. Shane Haste answered the call. Shout out to Shane. It was a fun little match. So it was good. No, Elijah did not ride a horse into the arena this time. He came down and sang about the Houston Astros in 2017 in the World Series. And that was the other thing. The Elijah gimmick, the Elias gimmick, was a heel who did the local sports team banter. And I said it on the post show, right? The Seattle Supersonics with him and KO, that whole thing that got huge numbers, did great service. Great. He did that as a bad guy. He did it as a heel, and it worked for his character, for his presentation. It was good. Now he's trying to do it as a babyface, and he's got two things that don't work. One, dated references. Two, out-of-tune guitar. And both of those things in tandem do not make for a good character presentation, anything. I don't know what they're trying to do. Everyone's waiting, just sitting there saying, when are you going to crack the guitar over Joe Hendry's head? That's all we're waiting for. It's inevitable, like Ace Austin. So we don't know what Elijah's all about, other than just waiting for it.
Yeah. Do we have to talk about Rebellion more?
Oh, I don't know. The Hardys losing, like I kind of made an allusion to it. They pulled Jeff from Slammiversary 2 weeks before the show last year because they were going to Montreal. Jeff, as I understand, is still unable to cross the border. I don't know if that's changed, but it feels to me like if you're taking the tag titles off the Hardys so quickly, not so quickly, but so suddenly, that's going to turn into the Hardys gaining the titles back against all odds when they're back stateside. So they wanted to keep the Nemets on the card coming into Canada, and then they'll just bring them back for the next round of shows. If Matt shows up in Toronto and he does some stuff at the tapings, then that's understandable. But with Jeff, I haven't heard. I don't expect him to be in Toronto, but that's kind of where we're at with that. The Nemets are the tag champions. Ash by Elegance, the Elegance has added somebody, and it was a serviceable show. It was entertaining enough, and it existed.
Okay, you made Trick Williams the thumbnail, so I thought we were gonna have to.
It was either that or I changed it to Hogan and Eric Bischoff in a black and white silhouette.
You should change it to that. Let's talk more about that. That we get way more mileage out of this nonsense than.
All right, who's the third man, brother?
Trick Williams.
Is it a podcast or a supplement? Well, actually, let's hit a couple super chats first, and then we'll get to it. Tenry's sent a few. One, Razi Agawa will pay for his crimes against Joshi. Again, I'm going to let SB3 cover that one tomorrow. As plugged in as I am on the side to Japanese women's wrestling, I'm going to leave that to SB3 to talk about. But yeah, there we go. I'm aware of the Rossi Agawa conversations. And also adding, and Ticketmaster can rot. Forbidden Door is rough. For those who are going, good luck getting tickets. The O2 in London is going to be a pricey time. If you went to WrestleMania, you knew how much you paid, unless you were Randy Orton, at which point you were very surprised to find out how much people paid for your tickets. It's pricey out there, pals. I hope you got the money for it. If not, there's always Klarna or whatever the hell the financing app is. Don't finance tickets. Finance homes if you can afford it. Do not finance tickets. It's a strange thing to do. Joel, Independence Hartwell coming in by the Fed backdoor. Funny. That was the other big news. Indy Hartwell has signed with TNA. She's part of the Knockouts division. Good for her. She was the one of the international signings that we had alluded to over on Fightful Select. That's confirmed. Indy's now part of TNA. Love it. Good for her. She deserves a spot. Looking forward to seeing her. I don't know if you have
Indy. I like Indy Hartwell, and the Knockouts division needs someone because they keep just using NXT talent because the depth ain't what it used to be with that. And I think Indy Hartwell showed a lot of promise on NXT as a character. I think her ring work is good, but still improving. She's still young. She's definitely not a finished product or anything. So it'll be a nice spot for her in TNA.
Yeah, she can work. She can do good matches and pick up some more experience, some more reps, as the kids say. Vollev also added something that we will touch on quickly. Vanilla fumble is what you call it when you take a belt, land on both feet, and still count it as a win. I said it on the post show, so for those who didn't see it, Moose did retain the X Division Championship in Ultimate X. The finish was, first of all, Leon Slater. The spot's gone viral as expected. Leon goes to the top of the truss on the Ultimate X, and he proceeds to do his Swanton 450, which by itself is a ridiculously cool move to do. And he lands it. Thank God. He goes to the top. He does it. And he comes down with some force. And it looks like everyone has a hard time catching him because he definitely lands. Just let me finish, because he lands hard on his face. Got his hands up, but he still smacked the mat. Hope he's okay. Allegedly he's fine.
He tweeted. I can tell you what he tweeted. If you give me a second.
Yeah, that's fine. I can tell you on our free tier on Fightful Select, we did report that those we spoke to said that Leon Slater appeared to be okay backstage after his Ultimate X spot.
Okay, he said, "Thank you, everyone that has showed concern or sent a message. I appreciate it more than you know." So he's at least, his hands and thumbs are working.
Good for him. I mean, you can still use voice to text. I mean, I do. You can put your ear pods in and just talk to the thing. So it could have been that. I have my suspicions because TNA is not running until Thursday when they do a live show. They do the injury report pretty quickly afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if they say something about like concussion protocol for him, and they keep him off active work for at least the live show, and then maybe the next night he'll work. I don't know what the plan is. It's hard for me not to think that he's concussed, but I'm also not a doctor.
He finished the match and like climbed scaled the cables and got the title and won the title, but didn't win the title. So
I spent 6 days not sleeping. This is don't think that I'm like making this a 1-to-1. I spent 6 days not sleeping in a city that doesn't exist, and I came back sick as a mother. That was like 2 days after I got back. The point of all this being, adrenaline is a hell of a drug, and when you just like a car crash, you get up, you're fine, and then you realize, oh, my insides hurt. You got to get checked out. I don't know. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not the one checking him out. To me, watching that fall screams concussion, but I'm not going to be the person to tell you whether it is or isn't for sure, because I'm not the one checking him out. If he's okay, great. If he's good to go, perfect. Hell of a spot. Could he have been caught? Yeah, absolutely. Should he have been caught? Absolutely. Jordan Grace tried to explain it as like, you have a chance of getting more injured off of that fall because of the sheer force and speed of his coming down than you do, being okay or whatever it was. She tried to explain it away. I think it kind of made sense, but also you got to at least try. And it felt like they tried, but they failed miserably to catch Leon. I'm sure the guys all said their apologies and they went along their merry way afterwards. But anyway, point of all this, goes, he grabs the belt, gets up, grabs the belt, and he's hanging upside down. And the spot, as ambitious as it was supposed to be, Moose spears him in midair. He fumbles the belt, and Moose captures the belt because it's supposed to be 2 feet on the ground. Instead, they misstepped it. Moose came late. Leon had hit the floor. They tried to play it off anyway. I get what they were trying to do. I'm willing to give them the benefit just because it's, what am I going to do? What are you going to raise a stink over this stupid thing? Like, come on. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The whole point of this is to have Moose drop the title in an actual one-on-one X Division championship match against Leon Slater to get a pinfall victory, to make it very clear that Leon Slater is the next guy in the X Division. And that's that. Not that Leon Slater has to outlast 5 other men to get a belt that's hanging from the rafters. Like, I'd much rather he beat Moose clean and that be it.
The parting of the Red Sea catch always baffles me. I'm not a wrestler. I'm never going to catch anybody. You should not trust me to do anything like that. But if there's 5 guys out there and they're all huddled up, like, you just gotta take that. I mean, you just have to take that. We had Bobby Flacco on Spotlight a few months ago, and he talked about like the catching and the parting of the Red Sea catch, and how like there's an art to catching, and how you gotta just kind of be willing to risk yourself for that. And he feels he's a trustworthy person who is going to go out there and make sure no one gets hurt. You got some veterans in that match who should just know, huddle up, fall forward, lean back, whatever it might be, and just help the guy out on that. Because again, parting the Red Sea, face flat on the mat, just looked like it sucked. So I hope Leon's okay. I will raise a stink over this finish. This finish sucked.
Cook those frauds.
He hit both feet on the ground, and then he got speared. And then Moose just took the title. Okay, the match is over once he drops down and hits the mat. You don't get to hit him afterwards and then take the title. You want to do that finish and you don't think you can time it right or whatever, have Leon Slater unhook it and Moose just jump up and snatch it from him like a jerk. And in that case, because they've set some type of precedent with dropping the title and somebody else grabbing it and then they win. So Moose actually just reaching up and snatching it as Leon is holding it and trying to like, see, I won. Fine. It's still a dumb finish, mind you, but fine. You've at least set some precedent there. This was just bad. Everyone looked bad on this. Leon Slater looks stupid because he doesn't end up being the champion. Moose, I guess, gets heat because he stole the title, but the company looks stupid for not just giving the title to Slater, for like enforcing this finish and being like, oh no, Moose is still the champion, even though we all saw what happened. We're just going to let Moose carry the title. It was dumb. It should, I don't know if you retroactively just put the title on Leon Slater, whatever. I know they're not going to do that. But if Leon Slater doesn't get an immediate match out of this, and I don't know that he will because Moose got pinned in that 6-man, and so it feels like now they're setting up who pinned him? Wentz. They're setting up Wentz. They're setting up Wentz for the X Division title match. Everyone looks bad on this. That finish sucked. It was awful.
It's like I said, they were trying to be ambitious, saw what they were doing, they screwed it up.
Don't be ambitious is what we're trying to say.
Don't be ambitious. That's right. Just check your ambitions at the door and just go the laziest route possible. That's the way you should do it.
Poor Leon Slater, man. Leon Slater got face planted because no one caught him. And then he didn't win the title that he won because Moose mistimed his stuff.
Got to pay your dues, brother. You're a young kid. He's like Javon Evans in NXT. The young kid who keeps getting closer but never gets his spot, but he over-delivers. It's very similar. And I'm not just, part of it's joking, but the other part is like, they're not presented the same, but the way that they have, you can see the similarities. You can see they're both young, very talented, very next up talent that continue to get the rub from the legends that are on the show or just the people that they bring in. And then they come up just a little bit short every single time. And eventually you're trying to build to that big moment, that cathartic moment.
Javon Evans comes up short, Randy Orton RKO spot aside, because he's losing matches in a fine way. Like he's having good matches and then he just loses. Yeah. Leon Slater is coming up short and he's looking stupid, like legitimately stupid because no one's catching him. And then he wins the title and they just take it away from him. It's not the same.
Well, just like Joe Hendry, they're still going to cheer him later on. Doesn't matter how stupid his presentation becomes.
It all sucks.
Give him a guitar. Let Leon Slater play guitar. Do a trio with him, Elijah, and Joe Hendry. They can all sing songs together around a campfire. Thursday's Live Impact is going to be just a sing-along for the TNA brand. Oh, anyway, that's basically Rebellion. It was a show. It existed.
Trick Williams showed up. We're 49 minutes into the show. Are we going to talk about Trick Williams?
Trick Williams showed up, took out Joe Hendry. The only saving grace from this was the fact that Joe had showed up on Tuesday, kind of, backsided, little sistered, little brothered Trick Williams, and stood with Obafemi. And it looks like Trick was the slighted one, and he just came back to get his pound of flesh. And then Shawn Michaels, who's famously blocked everyone in wrestling media, tweeted out that who knows what tomorrow will bring. Tweeted out that Joe Hendry will be on the show, or at least has been invited to the show on Tuesday. And then we'll see what if they want to go flying cross countries, because they got to do Florida one day and then they got to do California the Thursday. So that's going to be fun for whoever does that. Yeah, we'll see. I guess Trick and Joe will be the next big match. I don't know if that's going to be an NXT thing, maybe Battleground in Tampa for the TNA title, or do they do that at the show in Toronto? Oh God, are those the same weekend? They have the same weekend. One's Friday, one's Sunday. Woof. That's Double or Nothing weekend.
They're going to put this title on Trick Williams.
Okay, this is the ongoing conversation. Who's going to be the first wrestler from one company to carry the other company's title? We haven't gotten there yet. I didn't think that one of the knockouts would do it in the tag title match. Someone was saying it should have been the Meta Girls. The Meta Girls were literally tossed in there as like they've won matches, whereas every other tag team in that actual match had a reason to be there. Going with Trick winning the TNA title, you could do it. Trick's done everything else. They're literally waiting to do something with him, but then he's going to have to work TNA. I don't know if he wants to work TNA.
They just tape shows. Like, he can work TNA.
I'm just trying to think of the of their schedule and what actually makes sense, because one show is live weekly, like you said, and one show is batch taped the night or two after a pay-per-view or a big event. I don't know. I think it's more likely that Hendry and Trick is at Battleground, and I don't know what Hendry, and maybe they'll do a tag match in Toronto 2 nights before.
Trick Williams is going to win this title.
If he does, I'm going to laugh. Mostly because I don't know like what that's going to mean for anybody else in TNA.
Yeah.
Santana going to beat Trick Williams at Slammiversary.
I mean, that's at least that's a good match. I'm for that match.
Not a bad match. I'm still on the Ali Santana Slammiversary train. Should be that way. They've done the problem is they've now done the regular match. They've done the Falls Count Anywhere match. Do they do a steel cage match for the title? Is that kind of where we're going, or like what's the juice that keeps this going? Do you go past the third match? Does this become a 4-5 match storyline?
You know what they're gonna do for Slammiversary? I said like a triple threat. I'm wrong. It's not gonna be a triple threat. King of the Mountain.
Bless.
King of the Mountain. Bring it back.
Okay, who's in it? It's going to be NXT and TNA, and now AAA.
Joe Hendry, Ali, Santana, Trick, Elijah. How many people are usually in King of the Mountain?
I believe 6.
Okay. Trick, Elijah, and Randy Orton.
I was going to say be serious, but here we are talking about
the lineal TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton.
He is my world champion. I'm telling you. I don't think Oba would be the guy in there. I don't know who the 6th man would be. I don't know. Ace Austin. No, I just like Ace. Maclin or EY would actually be a good balance if they finish their story. Cody Rhodes, who has no championship right now, comes back to TNA to claim his new kingdom.
What if Jeff Jarrett gets in here? He returned on Collision. Sanjay gets him into the TNA match.
Could be. TNA gets one night only. They get the true Forbidden Door. It'll probably be like, it would be Vikingo. Let's just face it. They need that one person, that one AAA wrestler. That'll be that. No JBL last night.
No JBL.
No JBL.
There's no plan for that. There was never a plan for that.
I just expected JBL because the Maclin, the Hardys and the Nemeths were doing the thing, and where was JBL?
Where was JBL?
Didn't he show up at Unbreakable?
Did he? No, I don't know.
Maybe he showed up at Heels Have Eyes. Maybe it's he was in Vegas working. I know that.
You're the TNA guy. You tell me if he showed up to Unbreakable.
I wasn't at Unbreakable. I didn't pay attention to Unbreakable. I was busy that night. I had other things going on.
Nah, he didn't. He wasn't at Unbreakable. I watched Unbreakable. He wasn't there.
But he did he do Heels Have Eyes? Is that what I'm thinking of?
I don't know.
He showed up at an event with a stupid duster in the hat. I know it. Someone's going to tell me. Jesus Christ.
Did he? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just...
It was a hologram?
Yeah. You just think JBL's everywhere, but he's really nowhere.
Oh, I love that.
Of course there was no JBL. It sucks. That whole thing sucks.
That was amazing. What are you talking about? That was the best.
Oh, it rolls. It pops me, but there was no plan for that. There was never a plan for that. You know, no one's like even like mentioning it either. No one's like, whatever happened to this JBL thing? It's just, they'll circle back to it, and it maybe people are like, oh, look, there was a plan. It's like, nah, there was no plan.
The Toronto show, it should be the Nemeth versus Matt Hardy and That should be the tag title match. Then Jeff Hardy gets upset that he wasn't there, and it becomes JBL versus Jeff Hardy at Slammiversary.
That all sucks.
Y'all want to book King of the Mountain, and I want to book lineal TNA garbage. Let's go. We're doing this. Circle back. What are we, corporate? Oh, man. Anyway. The Sens won in overtime. I got one victory under my belt, so I'm happy.
Okay.
I had to watch the game in Punjabi.
Punjabi?
Yeah. For those who don't know,
What?
Canada is a multilingual and multi-celebrational.
No, it's not.
We celebrate our multiculturalism. We do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we do. That's why we have our hockey in various languages, including Punjabi. So I was unable to stream the game from my legitimate Bell TV app for some stupid ass reason, because we pay into it. Anyway, it's my mom who pays into it. But anyway, I was on my computer and they wouldn't let me do it. We couldn't watch it on Sportsnet, couldn't watch it on TS, and it was garbage. And instead, I turned it on and it was on Omni, which is like another channel that does multicultural stuff. And it had it. And they didn't block the game. The only downside, it's not a downside, it's just different. I had to listen to it in Punjabi, which, by the way, they rule because they're so into the game and they present it very well. And it's very like high energy, high action, good stuff. I can't understand a damn word, but it's kind of like watching New Japan, but you're listening to the Japanese announcers because they're also like full of that energy and you kind of get into it, even though you don't understand it. It's the delivery. So Sens won in overtime towards the end of the first OT. I was happy, made things good. And now they can go to game 5 and probably lose in Toronto. That's whatever. At least we had a good run, brother.
I don't want to talk about hockey.
And Valab asking, are you sure it's Punjabi and not Hindi? I'm 100% sure it's Punjabi because they absolutely put it out there that it is in Punjabi. So it's good for them. Glad to see the Sens win one. I'm going to talk about hockey because I know you guys talked about it on Friday and you feel your feeling.
We won on Saturday. That was nice.
Hell yeah.
We got to play again tonight and I'm already stressed.
Who's the third man, brother?
Is there any way that... I mean, there's not, right? Like, I don't think this is wrestling related. I don't think they're... People messaged me, and by people, I mean just like my friends. They're like, is this something to do with like Vince's new promotion? I'm like, I don't think so. If it is, like
so first of all, wasn't the whole thing with the Vince promotion, quote unquote, he wasn't doing wrestling. It was looking to be like a movie house or like a production house.
Allegedly, yeah. And
that Vince wasn't getting, like, people get so wrapped up in Vince being a wrestling promoter when they realize that he doesn't want to be in wrestling. Literally changed the name away from wrestling because he hates wrestling. Yeah, Vince isn't doing wrestling again. If he does anything, it'll be a production house. But that's also not anywhere near off the ground. I don't think that Vince is involved with this. I think that would be a trifecta of gross if you do it. When Eric Bischoff is the least gross of the three, you know you're doing something weird. I don't know. Oh, by the way, going back to the rehashing old ideas in the 90s, doing Who's the Third Man in 2025? This all reeks of one trick pony. God damn. I don't know who it could be. I think DDP was the be all end all answer. I don't think it's wrestling promotion related. I think it's wrestling adjacent, whether that's content or not even, I can't call it support, but something wrestling related. That's not them doing a promotion or being involved with the promotion. It just doesn't make sense. Whatever this is, it's garbage.
None of it makes sense. They're trying to create some type of buzz because they don't have any right now. Bischoff finished whatever he was doing with MLW. That whole thing was weird. Hogan gets booed everywhere, so he's not doing anything but chilling his beer. They're not going to TNA. They don't really have an in WWE. I mean, they do, but I don't really think WWE cares to do anything with them. They're not going to AEW. Where else are they supposed to go? But
Ring of Honor.
Yeah. But like they want to do something because they crave the spotlight. I mean, they can say they don't. Bischoff can say he doesn't want to work in wrestling full time, and I believe him on that. I don't think he wants to do like full time stuff. But let's be honest about how much they want the spotlight. That's all they've known, right? Like that's all Hogan's known since the 80s. He's always been in the spotlight. That's all Bischoff's known since the 90s. That's what these guys want. I'm not even saying like they're wrong for that. Like it's hard to let go of that stuff. We see it all the time with wrestlers, entertainers, whether that be acting, athletes, like all the time. Once they retire and they can't physically go in their sport, they want to do something else that keeps them in the spotlight, whether that's working on television, working as a coach, whatever it might be. Like they like having the attention on them. And I think wrestling is the worst example of this, because in other sports, like your body is done when it's done and you just can't compete anymore. Now you can go on to and do television and everything, but there's only so many like television spots for ESPN, TNT, or whoever. Wrestling, like, all right, your body might be done, but it might not be done until you're 50. And then even past that, you can still be on TV as like a manager. And there's almost unlimited spots, especially if you were a top name during your day. And there's always, you can come back for one pop, one cameo type of thing. You don't really get that in like the NBA. Like, as you say, Jordan, I know, is the owner of the Hornets. I don't even know if he owns part of the team anymore. But they don't like bring Jordan out and, hey, here's Michael Jordan to shoot a foul shot. And if he makes this, everyone in the arena wins free Wendy's. That would actually be a good bit, honestly. They should do that.
I'd love free Wendy's.
But like, you don't do that in the NBA. Whereas in WWE, they do it all the time. It's like, hey, here's Steve Austin to announce the attendance. Like, you can always do that kind of stuff in wrestling. So the wrestlers who have been at the top of the sport and were major stars, like Hogan certainly was, and Bischoff, who was very relevant for a very hot period in wrestling, they like just being in the spotlight. That's why Hogan still does all the stuff he does. That's why Bischoff still does the podcast and argues with people on Twitter. They like attention. And that's why they're doing this thing. Because they just get attention off of it. I hope it's like, I think it's going to be dumb. I hope it's like really dumb though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Part of me is like, is this going to be something that they think is really cool and then it turns out to be really stupid? Or is it going to be something that they
definitely think it's cool. They don't do this video if they don't think it's cool.
Yeah, it's like Horace Hogan is who they brought in, and they're just like, say hello to my cousin Horace, my nephew. And it's like, huh, all right, that's a thing you did. But I don't know what they're going to do. Again, that's why I'm like, Rodman, if you're going to go outside of wrestling, Rodman's the only one that I think ties them together. Otherwise, it's Connie and it's DDP. If it's Vince Russo, I laugh my balls off. And then I just go back to ignoring these two like I always have. This is the most I've talked about either person since ever on this show. We don't talk about them because we just don't have time. And even now, it's just, who cares? We're identifying its existence and we're giving it a little latitude because it's hilarious how cheesy and awful it looked. And they think it's cool. It's the boomeriest boomer shit that you could do.
I hope it's like, Hogan like thought he was gonna get the George Foreman grill deal. Like he claims he just missed the call because he was picking up his kids and he left there. This is a great Hogan tale, by the way. If you haven't heard it, I'll try to surmise it, but you should really listen to it for yourself. He was like, "Oh, brother, I missed the call. I was picking up my kids. The soccer moms get in the line at 3:00, and I'm always at the end of the line. And the kids were getting tired of me being at the end of the line, so I left early to go get the kids. I went to McDonald's. I got the Big Macs and the Sprite for everybody, and they were so excited. We just went out afterwards and we just ate our McDonald's. And I got home and I missed the call from my agent, brother. And he's like, I got a grill deal and I got it wasn't a juice, a blender deal. He's like, I already gave the grill to George Foreman. I called you first, but you didn't pick up." Hogan's like, "These kids tried to fuck on me." He didn't say that, but it would have been very funny. My point of all this is, do you think he's doing like some sort of like the Hogan griddle or something? The Hogan like waffle maker.
And it's his face as the waffle.
Yeah, you get the eyebrows and the mustache and everything. Get your Hulk Hogan waffles, brother.
And you know what it is? What's hilarious? They didn't have to pay a dime for it because it's just what they got was the mold for a Darth Vader. And they just repurposed it with Hogan's face because it's the same outlet. Look at a Darth Vader model right now and compare it to what Hulk Hogan's face would look like. You got the dome top, you got the flare on the back from Vader's helmet that's also Hogan's hair. You can basically just redo it in Hogan's image and pay nothing for it. That's what they did. We got it. That's it.
You think it's vitamins? Like you get
no, it's Bibles.
So here's what I was going with, Joel. Here's what I was going with. It's vitamins, but like it comes with a Bible as well. Like the package is a Bible. So like you get it and you open it and you get to read the Bible and there's like a vitamin on every page. So you read your Bible daily and you take your daily vitamin.
It's the most drug trafficking ass idea we have ever had on this show. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, wow, you thought fentanyl was a problem before? Y'all about to make it much worse. Oh, Ryan just said, what if it's a political podcast? Oh,
might be,
God.
honestly.
Tyler Brown sent a super chat saying Flair to be the third man on the worst podcast ever. Here's the thing about that. If you do this, Flair will last 3 weeks and then say, I'm out of here. And that'll be that. It'll be another failed Flair venture because that's what he does. He just flakes on it. My God. There's nothing about this thing, this whatever they're working on, this project, that's endearing, that's exciting, that's even remotely entertaining. I don't know. Listen, there's some people who have already eaten it up and they're going to let their imaginations run wild, brother. But like, there's nothing to do. I don't understand sometimes how people get so wrapped up in their nostalgia that they think like, oh, he can still go 75 years later. And it's like, he's not the same guy. They're not the same guys, and they're giving you the exact same thing from your childhood. I don't understand it. The Hogan Cruise, you know what? Here's the thing, Louis. It's entirely possible that they could announce something like that because the cruise thing is still kind of popular. And I also don't know how many cruises out of the US are going to be, I don't know how that's going to look over the next couple of years, but the cruise industry still persists.
What if it's just karaoke night at his bar? Like more karaoke nights.
Janelle has already packed up the
yeah. Not just Thursdays now, brother. Karaoke night every single night with special guest Eric Bischoff, who will play his one note on his guitar for you.
Oh, Christ. You know who the third man is? It's Jimmy Hart.
Oh,
It's going to be Jimmy because Jimmy's always there. He's always behind some shit with Hulk, just hanging out in the back. Oh, you know what's going to be hilarious? They're going to do one of those like cool NWO inspired vignettes. You know, we're here. We changed the world. We're number one. And then all of a sudden, it's all going to turn red and yellow. And he's going, "What's on, guys? How you doing? I'm here to be third man. I'm going to have a good day." And it's just going to be this fucking yapping dog while both Hulk and Bischoff just kind of like stare at him. And then they do a stare down. And then they're going to turn to each other and they're going to laugh and they're going to hug. And all of a sudden it's going to be, oh, he's the third man. He never saw it coming. And we're going to be like, we never cared.
I'm being completely serious when I say this. I hope it's a podcast. That's me saying this. Okay. The person who listens to more podcasts than anybody, the person who hates transcribing as much as I transcribe. I hope it's a podcast because I think it would be fucking fascinating. I'd get sick of it after a week, mind you, but I think it would be fascinating if it's a podcast because there's stories to tell. Like he's told a lot of them, but Hogan's got stories. He's been in wrestling this long. Like he's got stories. Those stories with the Hulk Hogan spin on them. Oh, I love listening to Hogan interviews because you get such mess out of it. Like I'm for that. Rikishi, okay, you're praising your family, cool. You think Jey Uso, he's the Yeet Man, and then he wins the title. It's like, oh, well, guess I was wrong about Jey Uso. Kevin Nash is fascinating in that way too. You just don't know what Nash is going to say.
He's kind of like a hot and cold type of thing.
Ain't always good.
Yeah.
But like you just don't know what you're going to get out of Nash. I feel like you'd get the same with Hogan. Here's the thing, like Big Man Dog saying Hogan covering daily wrestling news would be insane. Anytime Hogan is talked about like the current stuff, and I don't know how much he watches, probably not that much. Who could blame him? He's always very complimentary towards things. Seth Rollins has mentioned this too. Seth Rollins has said, like, Hogan's never done anything to me personally. He's always been cool to me. When he's around, he actually like takes the time to like talk and praise people and try to like he's open to listening to people. He's just a shitty human being. And the things he said are the things he said. And I don't understand how you can say that and not feel that way. And he hasn't done enough to show remorse or repent for his actions and words. So I don't want anything to do with them. Hogan is very complimentary towards like the current stuff. He likes Cody Rhodes. He likes LA Knight. He likes a lot of things. You know, he's not a guy who's just going out there, oh brother, they're just doing these flips and everything. You know, he's said stuff like, I don't know why Copeland is diving off of cages and he breaks both of his legs when he does this. Like, I don't get it, but you know, the crowd popped for it and it was great. So it worked, even though he got hurt. He's complimentary towards this. So I don't think that, you know, maybe under the influence of Bischoff, it would be a more of a hot take thing that he doesn't do, or that he doesn't do mostly when he does these interviews nowadays. Maybe he would lean into, oh, AW sucks and all this stuff. But for the most part, anytime I've heard him talk about the current product, he's generous towards it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about Terry because of everything you just said. But when it comes to Hulk Hogan, we know, again, very political, very minded of what he's done in wrestling and what he was given and how his presentation changed what wrestling became. He knows that. He's aware of that. He built his entire life on that. I will never take away from the accolades that Hogan has. I will say that Terry Bollea is a piece of shit, but also I'll add that a lot of people in wrestling are pieces of shit. And here we are. When the day comes and Terry Bollea is no longer part of this world, people will say a lot of nice things about Hulk Hogan and the way he impacted the business. No one can take that away from him, but we can certainly understand that two wrongs don't make a right, and that the human being that portrayed Hulk Hogan, Terry Bollea, was a shitty human being by all accounts. And that's kind of what Seth, may have been saying. He's respectful backstage. He understands where his bread is buttered, and he also wants to give back in his own ways. But not everyone is or should be so willing to listen. But the fact that he's there and he does it is good enough for some. That's kind of where it's at with him.
What if the third man... I'm upset that I'm even thinking about this, but they all think the same. What if it's something to do with like UFC and the third man is Dana White?
Do they have a thing? Do they have any connection? Like, do they have like an outward connection?
Yeah, the president.
Yes. Okay. You know what I mean. Thank you. Yes, I understand this. Someone says political podcast and Bill doesn't remember. I get it. I don't think that's it. As long as they don't understand or don't put together a no douchebag rule, because then it's just right out the window right away. I don't think that's it. I don't think that Dana could also commit whatever time to that.
I don't know how much time it's committing. It's just
there's no gain. There's no gain to Dana doing something like that.
The gain is he gets to hang out with Hulk Hogan. And I think he likes that.
Yeah, he did. I think once would be enough.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? All these people just love hanging out together.
Just hanging out in the green room. Hey, how can we fuck shit up even more? Jay Hayes saying there will be money in an unaffiliated Hogan podcast after show, just debunking every lie he says on the show. If that show is a thing, it's almost going to be the one podcast that could force In the Weeds to add another day. It's almost the thing where, because there's going to be an influx. Believe me, everyone and their dog is going to try and do a debunking Hogan podcast based on whatever show. And the problem is you can't officially announce it until you see the first show drop, and you have to then go through it with the fine-tooth comb, and he's either going to be completely full of shit and you're like, oh, there's money in them there hills, or you're going to say, oh, never mind, he's mostly on the level, or it's stuff we've heard before and it's just the same old stuff. But the lie debunking, like Ryan is saying in the chat, lie debunking would be funny, it'd be entertaining, but it has to also be consistent.
You can't debunk every lie is the part of the problem with that.
Yeah.
Like some stuff you can. You got to do actual research and you got to reach out to the right people and stuff. Some stuff you're just not going to be able to debunk, because Hogan says stuff like, oh, I patched things up with Macho before he passed. I patched things up with Warrior before he passed. Like, you can't reach out to Warrior and Macho for this. Like, I gotta get an answer there. You gotta go to the seance to get an answer and see if he can get something. But like he makes it sound like things are good with people who have passed, and you're not gonna be able to debunk some of that stuff.
Just gotta reach out to the family of these people and get a Ouija board. Get a Ouija board. Oh, I don't know, man. It's just, you're right. That's the one. It's shitty if he's using the names of the dead to make himself look good and say,
he does. He's already done that.
No.
I've listened to enough interviews.
I know he's said it. I know he's put it out there. But if it's, again, talking about giving people the benefit of the doubt, and Terry Bollea is not somebody you do that to. And if it's the case that he and Warrior never made up, he and Macho never made up, he and literally pick any dead wrestler and he says we're friends, we're good, we're cool, we talked before he died. Any of those, if if it turns out he's just saying their names just to get the clout and make him babyface himself, which is pretty common for Terry to do, that's shitty, man. It continues to be shitty. When people do that in any genre, it's shitty. But like you said, it's not easily debunked. You would have to find someone who was there when it happened. And if it was just two people, one of them ain't there anymore. So you kind of screwed.
Right. Like let's take the WrestleMania 9 incident. That was covered in the documentary. Who you gonna believe? Hogan, Jimmy Hart, and Brutus Beefcake, who all have the same story of what happened, or Scott Steiner, who said it from Macho Man. We can't ask Macho Man what went down. We're not going to know what really went down on that because 3 people got the same story and it's believable to an extent, but it's also one of the biggest liars in wrestling. And then otherwise, you're still taking a wrestler at his word based on another wrestler at his word, which we don't even know if Macho Man even said anything to Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner could just be saying stuff. Like, who really knows? You can't reach out to Macho Man. Interview the jet ski. Guess.
I mean, I would like to.
Oh, J Girls said the same thing. Yeah. Sorry, J Girls.
Just put a microphone in front of the jet ski. I can see the lines on the back of your motor. Are you?
Oh,
okay?
I'm with you, Ryan. I fully agree with that. Like, I don't see how a jet ski gives you a black eye if it was doing that. What? I don't know. I have no idea. I think it might have been some type of jet ski accident. Like, he did flip. He did hit hard. He did get a black eye off of it. And then he decided to enhance that story by saying a jet ski ran him straight into the face, when I don't think that happened. The Savage story doesn't always check out to me because they were still so friendly. And look, maybe it was that brothers fight and he punched him, but like, they were still so friendly after everything, including like at that event. So that's why that doesn't fully check out to me. And I also think that if that part were true, why wouldn't Hogan just get Savage fired? Like, maybe he didn't want to admit that he got punched by Savage, but Hogan had the power to be like, yeah, Macho Man sucker punched me. Savage was just doing commentary and stuff at this point. Like, he wasn't really an active in-ring guy. He did little one-offs, but by next year, WrestleMania 10, he was basically gone. I know he did the match with Crush, but like, he was basically gone. So it feels like Hogan would have just been like, fire this dude, and Vince would have listened. So neither story fully adds up to me.
Like Louis saying the Slim Jim money was still good.
I mean, maybe, yeah,
entirely possible.
Yeah.
Ryan saying I like to think it was Macho riding a jet ski that gave Hogan the black eye. that would be great. It just comes one, ooh yeah, just right into Hogan's face. It's just, listen, all this to say, who would win, the 3 washed up wrestling geezers or the gorilla?
So Eric Stevens tweeted like, okay, who would be the wrestler that lasts the longest against the gorilla? And I was gonna just retweet it and say Hulk Hogan, not because I think it's truthful, but because like,
he'll tell you it was him.
I think it'd be funny. I didn't because I didn't want people to be weird in my mentions. Maybe I will anyway. But yeah, this gorilla thing's hilarious.
It was just very funny that people spent an entire day just doing that. And inevitably, this discourse always brings the same people. It's the people who scream and shout and get angry and weird. The people who are just like, the factual, the gorilla will tear you up before you even start the conversation. It's just like all of this shit. And then there's the funny people. Like, it's sociology 101. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. So Gorillas.
Do you think 100 people could beat the gorilla, Joel?
I don't care. I ain't fighting no gorillas.
Come on. Like, give your take on this.
Are they big people? Are they strong people? Are they fast people? Are they a mix of people? Who are they?
It's 100 people. You get your pick, apparently.
Fine. Then yeah, they can probably take the gorilla. Eventually, one of them is going to figure out how to make a spear out of something or get a big ass rock.
No, like it's just 100 people. Like you don't get weapons against this thing.
Are we doing like where are we doing this? Is it in a forest? Is this in like where is this?
It's an octagon, brother.
You just send them in. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Dana's having a wet dream right now.
Yeah, they just send them in. Like you can send in as many as you want at a time to go in there. You can send 20 at a time. You could just do gauntlet one by one.
You taking all 100. You putting them all in there.
You're
putting them all in one. Just
throw 100 right in there.
Yeah, there you go. D-Eddie's saying one of them is Jane Goodall befriends the gorilla. That's it. False sense of security. You know what she does next? She knows how to snap a gorilla's neck. Game over.
I gotta find this list. But people were like, here's the 100 people that I would take against this gorilla.
You know what the worst part is? Someone in the wrestling media sphere is going to take this and make it their interview question.
Jensen and I did something similar for a while.
That was the 100 duck size, the duck size versus one giant or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, we did some gimmick.
Yeah, people do those ones. The 100 minis versus 100 or one of those ones. Yeah.
So someone's got this list, and 99 people that could help me beat a gorilla's ass. Michael Jai White, Brock Lesnar, Tank Davis, Steven Adams, John Jones, Isaiah Stewart, Draymond Green, 2009 Randy Orton, Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, Solange, hilarious, Monica, also hilarious, Kamaru Usman, Floyd Mayweather, Amanda Nunes, the 1989 Pistons, the 2004 Pistons, the 2000 Trailblazers, aka the Jailblazers. I'm pretty sure Rasheed Wallace is on both of those teams, so you get 2 Rasheed Wallaces.
I have a question. I have a follow-up question. Do they then get to 100 out of this, or does the team count as one entity?
No, it's 100 people. So each person counts individually.
But on this list now, they don't. Do they list 100 people?
Oh, I don't know. No, I think if you add up all these people, it doesn't get up to.
It's over 100.
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say if this is actually 100 on the list, 100 things listed, then you just took a bunch of people from a basketball team, and there's more.
There's only 12 people. There's only 12 people on a basketball team.
Yeah, 12 people add up quick when you get to 100.
Okay, but I don't think it quite gets to, because he only lists 4 basketball teams and then the 2001 Ravens defense. And I don't think you're taking every person from the 89 Pistons. Like, you don't need.
Yeah, but four people will get you halfway there. Sorry, four teams will get you almost halfway there.
All right. I don't think it. I mean, we can count. Do you want to count?
Not exactly. No.
All right. Well, we're going to count. You brought it up. No, you brought this up.
All right, sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 individuals. And then 3 basketball teams. So 3 times 12 is 36 plus 14, 50. And then the 2001 Ravens defense, that's only, again, another 12 people. So no, we're only at 62 people.
Okay. That was my question. It was whether or not they got to 100 or whether or not they just listed stuff for shits and giggles.
Now, he's got roughly 66 or 62 out of 100 because he counts himself. So 63.
All right.
So still a lot to go. I saw another one though. And one of the answers was white people after their hockey team loses. And I'm like, yeah, that checks out. Like, I could be good. I could be good for that. I could, I'd get killed pretty quickly. But like, I feel like I'd have some rage in there. Yeah, I'd have
that fire.
Yeah, I'd have some fire in there to make it worthwhile.
I'm thinking, again, I've told the story on the air, but like I was in Hungary during the 2011 Stanley Cup playoffs in the final between Boston and Vancouver, and I watched the Vancouver situation after they lost. Like I watched I don't call them riots. It was just the stupid shit that the city did with the destruction and the vandalism. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're wrestling, not wrestling, but hockey fans after their team loses, they can be real assholes, especially in the playoffs. They can cause some shit. It's real.
Canadian white males when their team loses in the cup finals.
Vancouver, once again, saw it. It was a thing. Man, I can tell you, Ottawa, we ain't going to be that way if we lose in the first round. Cup final, I don't even know if Ottawa would do anything if we lost in the cup final. We did. Nothing happened.
You'd be cowardly if you did. And that's cowardly. You should start riots.
Well, I wasn't there for that loss. Was I? No. Wait, was I? I can't remember. I was, and it was awkward because I was cheering for Anaheim. 2007 was a long time ago, Jeremy.
Fair.
Not as long as like 1996, which is where this video is coming from, but still a long time. It's amazing. Again, I go back to it. It's incredible that it's just this one singular idea that they just keep doing and bringing it back, black and white. Do the motif. You know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here.
What about the NWO? Could the NWO take the gorilla? They had a lot of people in that group.
They do have a lot of. We talking like 1998 NWO?
Yeah, we're talking like every member who's ever been part of the NWO. At the time they were in the NWO. So you're getting Jeff Jarrett and all those people. You get them at their peak because like Kevin Nash was part of the group, like multiple iterations, but you're getting like peak Kevin Nash out there. Big Show, the Giant, peak Giant. That was a big dude, athletic dude as well. Hogan, we'll include Wolfpack. Hogan, the gorilla might eat him and die. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff went into that.
I kind of thought that's what would happen.
Like that tanner.
Yes, yeah.
Like that's just that spray tan might kill the gorilla. There's a lot of chemicals with Hulk Hogan.
Those were vitamins, Jeremy.
Yeah, sure. But like the spray tan weren't vitamins. That was chemicals, brother.
Fair. I'm trying to think back. I once had this screen cap and I wish I could find it. It was a Club La Vila entrance for the NWO on an episode of Nitro. And there were so many of them. It looked like the most awkward bus stop photo I've ever seen. And like Rick Rude is I think he was in like a suit with shorts on. And he's sitting on top of the turnbuckle, just waiting while the promo is being delivered. And it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I got to find it and I'll post the photo if I do. But it was just awful. Regardless, that NWO versus the gorilla, yeah, that might be the one. Someone saying Virgil on his own. I'd probably do it.
Swing his cock around and hit the gorilla.
Jesus Christ. He'd be making meat stew out of that. Meat sauce.
Bullet Club would get killed by the gorilla.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of losers.
Bullet Club would try to tell like these jokes and do like memes and stuff, and the gorilla would just maim these people. Sorry to Bullet Club, but they don't stand a chance.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. Virgil would join the gorilla. The gorilla would be like, hell yeah, let's go. Best friend. The gorilla would suddenly become incredibly human.
House of Torture would get him. Evil on his own would take the gorilla.
I think House of Torture would just befriend the gorilla. They'd be smart enough to know. I didn't see him at WrestleCon in the end. Like I physically didn't see him there.
Why
he
not?
Could have been in the overflow room. I don't know for sure. Or maybe he just wasn't there for that Saturday when I was visiting. I could double check or just ask somebody. But regardless, I didn't see him. I walked around for a while at that convention and I did not see him.
I don't think you looked hard enough. You had one mission at WrestleCon and you failed.
Let's see if I can find this. Okay, we'll go back to Las Vegas guests. Chris Bay, Sky Blue, Brittany Blow, Danhausen, Deji.
Dude, peak Ahmed Johnson, honestly, I wouldn't fuck with that dude against that gorilla.
So he was there.
Yeah, I know he was there.
On the Saturday and the Sunday.
Yeah,
He must have been in the overflow room. He must have been.
Why didn't you go there?
There was a lineup, and I was not waiting for that.
Wow. Coward.
I just went into the main hall.
One mission, and you failed.
I had another mission that I did pretty well at, so we're okay. Anyway.
All of Fightful against the gorilla, and all of us die.
Yeah, we die. We die. It's over.
None of us are making it out of that.
Jimmy will pay the gorilla, but that's about as far as he'll get.
No, we're all screwed against the gorilla. We'll send Sean in first, and then we're screwed after that. Yeah, Sean's at least like trained and everything.
Oh, maybe Pulaski can fight.
We're all screwed.
Yeah, we're done. It's fine. Kylie's gonna beat up the gorilla somehow.
I would back Kylie. Kylie can scrap. I would back Kylie.
Yeah. She's strong, man. She can take anybody.
You know, Kylie and Maggie. I feel like both of them could scrap a little.
Maggie might get the gorilla drunk enough at first.
I could work,
and then Kylie can help. Take down the gorilla.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We might have a strategy here.
We're working on it. We are a strong team when it comes to our brain power, kind of.
Yeah.
This is the two of us. Maybe we can make this work. Okay.
Jensen would talk to the gorilla about Cody and pour him.
I listened to the Spotlight on Thursday. I listened days later because I was on my deathbed.
You gotta watch it. I put on a show.
I didn't watch it. I listened to it, and I just had this secondhand embarrassment. Not in a bad way, but just that cringy humor type of thing. I was listening back and I'm like, oh God, this is so bad, but I have to keep listening.
I was cooking Jensen with the John Cena stuff.
It was so funny.
I did this for like 30 minutes, Joel.
I know you, dude.
I was killing Jensen.
So awful.
Bless.
Yeah, there you go. Keep the tape. The first 20 minutes is gold.
So people are like, how could you hold your arm up? Because I did the acknowledge thing and I held that for like half an hour, maybe even more than that. Yeah, and I did the you can't see me for 20 to 30 minutes. People are like, how do you do that? I can do a 6.5 minute plank.
I'm gonna say my boy Plank's here. Come on.
Yeah, I plank every single day. So I know like pretty thin, all things considered, but I got some core and like strength to me. I don't got muscle, like popcorn muscle stuff. I just got good like core strength on here. Yeah, so I'm up to 6.5 minutes. Me and the tiny one. I got 12 kids. One of them's the smallest. Me and the tiny one. We've been planking every day since the start of the year. We started at 3 minutes and we're up to 6.5 minutes.
Oh, that's wild. Legit shout out to you and the tiny one. That's crazy. That's that's some bonding time.
The tiny one's becoming kind of like my little mini me almost.
No, that's not good.
No, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
Honestly. It's terrible. But like she'll she wanted to watch WrestleMania with me. She's like, "Oh, go watch it." So I gave her the first night. I gave her the Yeet Avalanche shirt to wear. So she wore that, and then the second night she wore the John Cena shirt. She was very excited. She was watching SmackDown on Friday, and it was the Drew and LA Knight match, and she was watching part of that. And then she's like, "Oh, tell me who wins," because it was bedtime. So I was like, "Oh, tell me who wins." Like she's into it, sadly. And I was watching hockey yesterday, and she just started watching. And I was like, "Oh, I can't put you through this. I like you too much to put you through." I was like, "Nah, you gotta leave Jeremy." My team wasn't playing last night, so like it was fine. But like I was like, you gotta leave Jeremy alone when his team is playing. It's not gonna end well for me, most likely. But Yeah, she's becoming a little mini me, and it's not great. Honestly, sucks.
Just you wait.
Feel bad for her.
Be happy. Be happy you've become that person to somebody.
Yeah. Still not great. Still terrible.
So the worst part about getting sick last week was all the Mania fallout. And I know you and SB3 talked about it, and Jay Grails mentioned in the chat. Dave LaGreca, after The Rock tells him to stop being a mark versus the gorilla. And by the way, yes, absolutely. Second of all, do you know how much it pained me to have to say, shit, I support Dave LaGreca here? You know how much that sucked to be like, the Busted Open crew they caught the wrong stray in this one? That sucked. And then you guys had to talk about it. And I was like, nobody's giving me the vitriol of how badly Busted Open sucks, yada, yada, we rule, blah, blah. But also like, Dave didn't deserve that, man. And I love that the Busted Open crew continues to just be like, hey, Rock, come on our show. They're trying to make lemonades out of this stuff.
They should.
They should, absolutely. They've been trying to make lemonade out of the lemons. But man, that was just hilarious. And I saw it. And what was really funny was I saw the clipping of the post first. And it was The Rock, and it starts with, hey, Dave. And I was just like, Meltzer? And then I read through it and I'm like, oh, he's talking to LaGreca. And then I went and I found the actual context. And at that point, I was just like, oh, man, I am very conflicted. On one hand, Cook. On the other hand, Dave LaGreca's right. He was right to be critical. He was right to go. I'm not, I think you guys talked about it too, not being rant guys. And we're not angry rant guys most of the time. And what Dave said was,
I was very upset over that finish at TNA.
You were actually, you did rant. And I did mention Elijah, and I did mention Joe Hendry, and I did, okay, maybe we are rant guys. But anyway, the point of all this is LaGreca didn't deserve that. He did not deserve that. LaGreca is not always right. I will say that. Don't ever say that.
I agree with Jay Grills. I don't think LaGreca is always right, but Joel is always wrong. I do agree.
Except for the Masha stuff. I was right about that. And several other things. But yeah, I just, that was a whole ass day. Rock being like, "Who's be fair? You should be in the room." I love collaborating with Paul.
He was taking notes from Bully. That's all he's doing. Be a fan, brother.
Why did he have Grand Marnier? Why doesn't he have Terramana ready for Bully? What's up with that? I know that's probably an inside joke between them, but hush puppies. My God. Fat ass Rock over here. What? Hush puppies are a deep fried dish, and they also used to make fun of Bubba because it was fat.
Okay.
I don't know. It was the last line where he talks about Grand Marnier and hush puppies next time. I'm like, next time? They've been trying to get you on all week. You just gotta show up, Dwayne, with your T-Rex head in the background, pretending like you're a smart guy. Just show up and do your shit and let LaGreca do what he does. Instead, Dave had to be in California for or I guess he already lives there. Or no, he lives in New York. He had to be in California for TNA last night to do the pre-show. Rock should be on our show. That's what we should do. We should just be like, Rock, Dwayne, buddy, we think you're right. We believe you. We think that Dave LaGreca and that Busted Open crew are full of shit. They don't understand creative like we understand your creative. Final boss, come join us for a victory lap on In the Weeds. We'll call it In the Rocks. On the rocks, some Terramana.
Are we getting in? How do you get in the rocks? You gotta break them open. And
you do have to break them open. Some of them might have fossils inside. You never know.
Okay.
Exactly. Hey, Dewey, we agree with you. Join our pod and cook LaGreca. You have to send it like a really awful influencer, like the influencer bots that are like, we love what you do. We just looked at your profile for 2 seconds and we love that you do this and that. Come and join us on this platform. That's what we need to do to old Dwayne.
When you just get Dwayne on, Ryan's got it. And I'll just tell you about these movies we're trying to make. And then we're like, we know you got Baywatch 3 in the works with Joey Janela and Sydney Sweeney. So how about Timecock and Mac and Me? What if we just signed a 3-movie deal to get Baywatch 3, Timecock, and Mac and Me made? We don't need to talk about wrestling. Who could possibly care about wrestling? I think this is our in with The Rock is we just pitch him on these movies we've tried to make. Like, Rock, look, we got $7. I can find $7 around here somewhere. We got $7 here, Rock. You know, Sean Ross Sapp once told me I got to stay at home. And I was like, brother, what if I return as a heel? But I just need the mic. You got to give me just a little bit of time on the mic. And then I'll get the fans on my side. I was going to go to Pride once and fight for Pride. But the money wasn't good enough because I only had $7. I'm just mixing a bunch of Rock stories together. He'll appreciate it.
Rock, the invitation's here. Just for you. We've offered it to only one other person for their own weekly segment. Now's the time.
That's a good partner promo punch in the face. Vin Diesel, John Cena.
Triple H. You know, at one point when I was debating whether or not to ask if we got into the presser, I debated doing the Malcolm route and asking a partner promo punch in the face to Paul Levesque.
That would have been funny.
It would have been so confusing to so many people.
Yeah, if it's to him though, like you kind of gotta ask him a real question.
Yes.
Otherwise, like you're gonna get ridiculed of like, oh, look at Fightful, they're asking these fake questions.
And yeah, exactly. And that's why I was just like, nah, we ain't doing that. If it's like on a red carpet scenario going to After Dark or some shit, then I would have done it.
Nah, like if you had like Jey Uso, that's something to ask. Like Jay, because Jay's already like feeling good, feeling himself. You're not asking Jay a real question. Yeah,
he's feeling Uzi.
Yeah, you're not asking Jay a real question. So asking him something fun like that would work. But nah, you can't ask Paul that question.
Jacob Solo Roman.
That'd be good.
Can't pick his brother. Ain't doing that. We're gonna do all those other guys. Man, no, I couldn't do it. I couldn't. We weren't in the room anyway. It doesn't matter. But I just thought about it. I was like, man, if I had been able to do partner promo punch in the face to Paul, there would have been such tremendous backlash for that if we didn't ask a legitimate question. But it would have been hilarious to see the look on his face. Rock, Nick Khan, Ari Emanuel, partner promo punch in the face. Well, partner with Nick Khan. I think he's a great guy to work with, and really love doing collaborations with him. I do a promo with Rock. Back in the day, we had a conversation.
This isn't the answer at all.
Oh, I'm gonna partner with all of them to take over the world.
No, that's not the answer. He would 100% partner with The Rock because he loves collaborating with The Rock. He would promo with Ari Emanuel because he feels he could just beat Ari Emanuel in a promo. And he would punch Nick Khan because Nick Khan surprised him and forced him into the WWE Hall of Fame when he did not want to go. That would be Triple H's answer.
Greg saying Shane Dwayne. Oh, God.
That's good. That's a good one.
Who's Shane? I've never heard his name before. There's nothing good that could come with this question at certain levels. Unless you're me, at which point you just don't care. You want to watch the world burn. I would have loved to have heard Malcolm do the Waffle House question to Triple H, of all people. It would have been very funny. He should have given Triple H a statement, and he would have recited his whole Hall of Fame speech. Yeah, Shane Helms, love that dude. Great agent. Love him. All right. We got a little bit of time. Let's talk real quick about TLC from SmackDown. I thought that was really, really, really solid stuff. Great match. Everyone's saying it should have been on the WrestleMania card. I think that was kind of the point, was for these three teams to prove that they absolutely deserve the spot. And that was them, again, proving their point that they should have been there. And you know what they did? They went out there. They had a fire match. They brought eyes to SmackDown in the end, and it was the main event. In an hour, they did a commercial-free final hour. So the final match being completely uninterrupted was helpful. Street Profits retain. It was a good little ending. I like the Street Profits coming out in the HBK gear in Texas, and just a good match. A lot of fun. Go check it out. Someone saying the TLC match should have been the thumbnail. It was from Friday. I'm gonna update the thumbnail. It's gonna be the stupid Hogan Bischoff stuff. Just telling y'all now. So, but yeah, TLC it delivered. I thought it was a really strong finish to a pretty okay SmackDown, and love everything that happened. But your thoughts on TLC and the tag titles?
I hope Dawkins is okay. That spear through the table looked very rough.
Yeah,
like he didn't have a knee pad on one of his knees either, so he just went flat down on there. That looked like it sucked, but he was good enough to celebrate and everything. No, the whole match was great. Those guys went out there. It looked like they had something to prove, and they proved it. They 100% proved it. Oh, is it going to change anything? I don't know, but we haven't seen, like, when was the last TLC match?
They said it was 5 years ago.
Okay. It's been a while, and it feels like it's been a while. Like, obviously, everybody remembers the Hardys, Dudleys, and Christian TLC matches, but it's been a while since they've done like the like multi-team kind of TLC matches.
So they've done it on NXT. They did Tony D'Angelo and Obafemi, and then they also did the tables. Those were tables, ladders, and scares. But before that, it was Roman and
that wasn't climb the ladder and win though, was it?
Those were they do those with tables, ladders, and chairs or scares.
I feel like that was a pinfall gimmick.
Regardless, they were the 5 years ago was the TLC pay-per-view where they did Drew, AJ, Miz, and Roman and KO. Those were 2 TLC matches in one night. Okay. That was December 2020.
Okay. My point was they haven't done the multi-team TLC match in forever. So, and these were the right teams to have in it. Like, look who we had. We had DIY, Motor City, and Street Profits. All these teams are fantastic, and all these teams are willing to go to these lengths to prove something. And it was great. And they wouldn't have gotten that much time on Mania. They could have. I mean, granted, those shows are 4 hours and they're loaded with video packages and everything. And in a different world, they would have gotten that much time on Mania. But in 2025, half the show has to be video packages and advertisements. So they wouldn't have gotten all that time on Mania. So it was probably better that they were in this spot on SmackDown.
Yeah. The going back to the Dawkins spear at the end that you were mentioning, I also felt for Ciampa because he got himself into position. And then when he took it, he landed tailbone first. He didn't land on his back. He definitely it was an awkward landing for both men. And I hope they're both
just
okay.
Looked like it sucked.
It did look like it sucked. I saw a meme going around when Ciampa made his entrance and they were like, who is this guy? Wrong answers only. And like my first thought was that might be Giovanni Vinci's brother. The way he's looking. I don't know. There's something about gruff, just a little stubble Ciampa that like kind of looks badass. I thought he looked pretty good with that, but that's just one fan's opinion. This TLC delivered, and I think that was the takeaway. I'm also really happy that going back to the WrestleMania and the sponsorship spots and all the stuff we talked about, the over monetization of WrestleMania, these 3 teams didn't need to be dressed up as some activation to make their entrance. They just came out as 3 tag teams. It wasn't like Motor City Machine Guns are dressed up as these guys from Clash of Clans, and then the Street Profits are dressed up as, Goku and who knows. Well, they came out as Shawn Michaels, but like they didn't come out dressed up as
NXT superstar Shawn Michaels.
That's right. They just came out as the teams and they went out and did the thing. I was really happy about that. But that was definitely it. John Cena, Randy Orton's official for Backlash. They did their promo. I love the idea that Randy Orton, who was always the bad guy for the entirety of their feud, trying to turn it around as if their history was on Orton's side, and then Cena having to find a way to heal up their history. At least Orton started with you got to mellow out and have kids. And I'm like, I've never met anyone say that ever in their life. No one's been like, hey man, you want to make life easier on yourself? Have some kids. Not one person has ever said, kids, that'll help. No, idiots. It'll make your life different. You will have perspective. Your life won't be easier. I thought John did a serviceable job turning that on its head, but trying to take their history and flip it upside down, that's going to be an unenviable task for creative. Well, it was good. Orton's just massive now, physically. It's hilarious.
Cena said that. He's like, Randy and Batista just switched bodies. Like, what the hell happened? He's like, I'm looking at Orton's belly button nowadays. He's like, he not only got bigger and like wider, he just got taller somehow. Like, how's this possible? That he also just got taller. It was amazing. I thought the promo, I thought Cena's stuff was good, where he's like, I've been raising your kids. Like, that popped me. The rest of it, I was like, all right. It didn't do a ton for me. And like, I guess it's the bit that Cena just gets laid out at every single segment, but they're running into the ground a little much here.
I don't think he's going to get any modicum of revenge on Randy Orton.
He should do the AJ Styles thing, where like they open the show with Cena and he gets laid out and he just lays in the ring the whole time.
Oh yeah.
And they got to wrestle and work around him. That's what AJ did in that dark match.
It's not a bad idea. There's there's one thing that I was going to say. There's one of the matches that they did in St. Louis. And I know this video went around and it was Randy Orton punches the referee and gets the DQ. I kind of want them to run that back. I know others have said it. I saw the video and I was like, oh yeah, for the bit, run that back. And then don't finish the match like that. Or if you've done 15 minutes, like here's where I'll contradict myself. It plays into the John Cena ruins wrestling gimmick that he's trying to do. This weird meta, I'm going to ruin wrestling by having the worst matches imaginable, because he's certainly trying his best to ruin, not be good. And this is one way that he could do it, is by having his traditional John Cena, Randy Orton 2012 main event match, but then it ends with John Cena just to the referee and that's it. And the referee calls it. Like, what are you doing, man? Ring the bell and that's it. Then the match cannot be the main event. That's the only caveat.
Yeah, you can't make that the main event if that's going to be your finish, and you're going to piss a lot of people off with that finish. Here's what I would do. I do like that idea, by the way, because it does play off of things. John Cena punches the ref or gets in the ref's face, like, DQ me. Or he low blows Orton, he hits Orton with whatever. However he gets himself DQ'd, he gets himself DQ'd. The ref calls for the bell. And then John Cena's leaving. He thinks he's won. And then all of a sudden, down. It's time to play the game. Triple H comes out. He doesn't want to be there, but Triple H comes out and he's like, all these fans in St. Louis, they deserve a better finish than that. So I am stating that this match is now no disqualification and there must be a winner. And the crowd cheers for Triple H because he's the biggest star on the show. And they're so happy Triple H has come out, even though they got a general manager. Adam Pearce could come out. Nick Aldis could come out. No. Triple H has to come out to make this decision. And it's the history as well. Joel, Triple H has ties to John Cena and ties to Randy Orton. So everybody's like, oh, this is so great. Triple H is there with John Cena and Randy Orton. Oh, man, think of all the feels, all the great feelings, all the great vibes with this. And Triple H is like, yes, thank you. I've done my job. You're getting this match that you people here in St. Louis deserve. Triple H, Triple H, Triple H. And then no one really remembers the match. They just remember Triple H. Even though he doesn't want to be there, he's still the most memorable person on the show.
See, I see Triple H coming out after a DQ and saying, that's not how it finishes. No disqualification. Restart the match. Ding, ding, ding. John Cena kicks Randy Orton in the balls, hits an AA, and that's the match. That's it. Belt shot, not shot. That's the game. 1, 2, 3. Not Triple H. The ball game. The match is over.
What if Triple H pedigrees Randy Orton because it's best for business and he aligns with John Cena and we get a heel authority Triple H? He doesn't want to be on television every week, but now he's the heel authority figure on the show.
But more importantly, how does Travis Scott fit into all this?
Fiend.
I'm going to get a fiend. I'm just going to get a fiend, like just the singular fiend, and I'm just going to slip it in. I'm just going to get it, and I'm just going to fit. I'm just going to.
You know what they should do? You know if Cena really wants to piss people off? Oh, Ryan kind of says it. They just play that song during his entire matches. Like, that's it.
No, stop it.
The song plays for every John Cena match. Every John Cena segment. Fuck it. Let's go all the way. Like, Cena's got to cut his promo over the Fiend sound. That's what's got to happen.
I miss Bray Wyatt so much because if the Fiend was around for this theme, oh, there could have been so much fun shit you could have done with Fiend and Fiend.
No, that's too easy. They think bigger than that, Joel. You got to think bigger than that.
Highly doubt they do. I will just rename the show to In the Fiend.
It's too easy to just Fiend and Fiend. Get it, everybody? Nah, you got to think outside the box like structure.
Bray wouldn't have been on the show anyway.
He had a shot. He would have had a shot to be on the show.
They're doing Tiffany and Nia again. That was a decision that was made.
Did they do a rematch after Tiffany won?
They did. Title? Okay, so Tiffany wins the title. They do the rematch. The rematch ends in a DQ. They did a couple of them. They both ended in DQs. That's how they got to the Trish tag match at Elimination Chamber. And then I don't know if they blew it off on the way to Mania. I'm pretty sure they didn't officially finish it off, but also like it was kind of expected to be done, or just kind of like, oh, that ends that. Maybe she did win on SmackDown. Hold on, now I have to actually go and check. Pretty sure Nia had like lost the match. No, not titles, matches. No, it was just the DQ. Just the DQ. So they did the DQ in February, then they did the tag match, and then no Nia since then. Now she's back, and they're doing the stupid, I'm not done with you yet. And it's like, well, we should have been. I wish they had gone to literally anyone else. I appreciate that Jake came out. They started at least doing something with that. Of course, they're going to end that with a DQ finish. That was kind of stupid. They needed to be booked better. Did Naomi coming out, getting on top of Jade and like doing air drums was just the funniest.
That rolled.
Just the funniest shit. Hilarious. Oh, God. I'm just ready for Tiffany and Nia to be done, for Jade and Naomi to figure out how this ends, and that'll be that, and give Tiffany a legitimate challenge for the title.
Who's going to be the legitimate challenge? Jade?
I don't know.
Okay.
Bianca?
I don't know if Bianca's taking time off or what.
Well, she's injured. At least she confirmed that she had some.
Right, she had broken fingers. Yeah.
That's painful, but I don't know. Well, that can take time to heal up from. That is that's a nerve and bone thing. So hopefully that comes back. Hopefully it's a quick recovery, but you never know. But also Bianca's a freak of nature, so she could be back tomorrow for all we know. So I don't know how long her recovery period is, but she could be one who goes after Tiffany. There's still money in that big three having a story now that Bianca's done with the world title stuff. Don't know where Rhea lands. I assume in the women's world title chase again. But there's some space to move around. It's just going back to Tiffany and Nia to me was felt a little lackluster. You could, again, because they never had a definitive finish, it's a good way to just do the match. Tiffany beats Nia at Backlash. We're done. We move on. Nia goes to the hopefully back of the line, and that's it. Then maybe they'll do Nia and Charlotte Flair, because the Heat brother. And everyone's, the audio leaked, and everyone's got to talk about the things she said. And we've talked about why it was stupid in the moment. But if they're going to turn it into a story, that's just another tell. It doesn't work with the video. You got to get the audio.
You would just want me to do audio? Okay.
You just have to do and it's got to be longer, I think. I don't know. And don't put loop on the audio.
Yeah, well, then we'll get copyright. So
I want to put it on as a button on my soundboard, but my soundboard is a piece of shit with that stuff sometimes.
Hold on.
And Louis saying, Jeremy, play the clip.
You've seen the clip.
Yeah, I get the clip. I know.
And this song is long.
Awful is what it is. And it's over. We're done with it.
What?
You think we're going to have to do another WrestleMania rewind tonight?
What do you mean? Oh yeah, they will. They'll do more. So yeah, they're gonna play. They're gonna play this song forever.
God damn.
Yeah, they're gonna play this song forever.
They would do that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that particular situation.
Okay, hold on.
Found what you wanted?
Well, I mean, I've got multiple versions of the Fiend here.
Fiend.
I can help. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you got it?
Yeah, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, I can't do an MP4. That's dumb.
Make it an MP3. It's audio.
Yeah, but like it
you don't
saves
need that
as a
player, brother.
No, I just got to convert it. That's all.
Make it a wave. Make it a massive file.
That sounds terrible. Why would I want to do that?
Well, terrible is kind of a thing that happens. Russell Comics asking, when's the WWE draft? Guess what? It's tonight. No, it's not. We don't actually know when the draft is, but I could see it being after they finish up at Backlash. That's usually when they do it. They wrap up a couple of extra Mania stories, and then they get you into the summer with the draft, or they might even wait all the way to the fall.
I did loop.
That did not work properly. We're going to get demonetized on that so fast.
I unlooped it. All right. Now it's not playing at all.
Good.
Oh, there we went.
Yeah. Now you got to.
That's the song. It just says Fiend a bunch of times.
Yeah, but then it's also getting the extra part, the ja.
Yeah, I got the ja on this one. I can't play it with so long. We're gonna get demonetized with it.
No, I'll fix it. Don't worry. I'll get you later. Don't worry. Look at it. Stop it. Stop it.
I should just loop it. All right, let's do the whole show. And just
we're gonna get we'll get demonetized. Take it off. Don't need our channel to get demonetized today. Got bills to pay. Yeah, the draft is usually announced after Backlash. Whether or not they want to wait all the way to September is another question. But yeah, it's usually once they get rid of the Backlash stuff, that's when they move on. But someone who doesn't need to be drafted because he's on SmackDown is Alistair Black. He's back. Look at that. Miz comes out in all white and he's like, I deserve to be WrestleMania. And Alistair Black's like, nah, fuck you. What is wrong with you? It's about as much as I care about Alistair Black too.
What were we talking about?
You know. Y'all should know how sick I was when I read that shit. All right, chill out.
I got 2 requests to play it again. I listened to the people, Joel.
No, now you're gonna get them all doing it because they're idiots. Don't let the inmates run the asylum.
No, it's a good clip.
So it's
a great clip.
It has its moments.
Nah.
I was so sick. You people suck.
You were white. Let's not use sickness as an excuse
I knew better. I was
whiteness.
just exhausted. I was tired.
I don't think you did know better. I don't think you knew better. I think you read that and you did not understand what the actual context was.
Oh, I knew what it was. Screw
you were white, and that is what you decided to do.
I knew immediately what it was, and you know I did. I
know what you did, Joel. You made him say,
nah. Suck.
I didn't make the clip.
Yeah, but you've now used it as one of our own.
Because it's funny.
Yes, it is. Alistair Black is back.
Allegedly, sure.
Good for him. He's gonna take on Blackface Miz.
That was hilarious. Dude, shout out to the person on Reddit who did that. That was so fucking funny.
Did you know who wrote that Observer headline / where it came from?
Was it Brian Rose?
It was Brian Rose.
Oh, Brian.
Because Brian wrote, like, I just woke up, or I just logged on to see why one of my articles go viral. What happened? And I didn't have the heart to tell him. I saw Brian in Vegas. Loved hanging out with him for a few minutes, but I just had a good laugh over that shit.
So the Reddit post, I don't know if it got taken down, but I screenshot it because it was so funny to me. So the Reddit post, for those who didn't see it, it was as a spoiler too, which is more hilarious. But the headline was Wrestling Observer News reports controversial new mix gimmick, which it kind of works. Gimmick to debut next week. And then Brian wrote on Observer, I guess it was the SmackDown recap. It was announced later on SmackDown that next week's show will have Blackface Miz in his first match.
We are such children.
The Reddit post set it up so well. Like, again, shout out to the Reddit person who did it. But Brian writing, like, oh, Brian, you gotta choose the words better than that. You gotta, like, Black against the Miz. Like, you can't do Blackface Miz. I was cackling when I saw this, though.
Saw you posted, and I was just like, "What is it? Oh no!"
I posted with no context. Like, I didn't even say, like, this Reddit post pops me. I just screenshotted it. I was like, here it is.
The problem is, like, I see Henry saying could have said Alistair. No, because then you'd have to use Mike, instead of the Miz. It's like saying, like, you could, but it doesn't work the same way. It's Black versus Miz, but it was just not.
Yeah, just
not written well.
Or Miz face Black doesn't work great either.
It's fine. It's a little better.
Just use the word against. Like, just use the word against.
Takes on, Black takes on Miz or something. Although then people might think it's a podcast.
But Blackface Miz was so funny. Brian's doing well.
Oh god!
I was with Steve, not Dr. Death, our pal Steve. He was like, I just got the mental image of the Miz doing this gimmick, and I'm dying. I was like, that was the first thing. Like, after I got past, like, just the hilarity of how it was worded, I thought of, like, the mental image, and it was like, oh my god. His track record ain't great when it comes to the real world. He seems like he's good now with everything, but there's some real world moments that don't paint him in the best light there. Yeah.
Let me see. Did Brian ever realize what happened? Let's see. Oh no one even replied to it. I'm wondering why I'm seeing a sentence from my Alistair Black return post go viral, but I don't think it's not anything I did. So okay. It's just 2 likes, no responses. Just gonna leave that alone.
And Brian doesn't have, like, a lot of followers and stuff. He ain't like you know.
He's a very good writer. He's competent. Like he's got It's just very funny. I love Brian. Shout out to him. He's such a sweet guy. It is a very funny moment where it's like you just didn't know. You just didn't know.
That was so funny.
Fantastic.
SP3's Triple H ego song was hilarious.
And someone was getting real weird in the comments over that one. Let's just say,
really?
Yeah, I got rid of that guy.
Okay. That was so funny. And he did a whole like marching routine to it. That was hilarious.
Well, that rules. Oh god.
Joel's singing is better though, because it's so much whiter. SP3 is like a legit like good singer. I've done karaoke with SP3.
Hey, screw you, I can sing. Anyway.
You can't rap though.
No, definitely not. I've never said I could. And of course the vanilla fumble. Blake Christian loses another match. Swerve on Collision.
I'm so mad he doesn't have his theme yet.
We're trying.
I'm so mad.
Jack Harlow's just a phone call away. We just don't know his phone number.
I know Tony Khan's already got me muted, so he never sees these tweets. But at one point, he's going to be alerted to all of this, and then he's just going to block me.
He'll never block you. He likes you too much. He likes your brand of humorous observations.
I don't think anybody likes me, as they shouldn't.
Honestly. Yeah, I get it. I know where my bread is buttered, and it's by not liking you. Oh god. And Ron. Raw's tonight, Kansas City, Missouri hosts the show. Nick Aldis fills in for one night only as interim Raw general manager because I guess Adam Pearce runs from the ground.
Adam Pearce said, "Fuck Kansas City." That's why.
I know he's a big Packers fan. I didn't know that he had a problem with Kansas City like that. God damn. I hope he's okay.
I hope Adam Pearce just got fed up with this shit. He's like, Gunther's attacking announcers. Braun Breaker is just doing shit. Paul Heyman thinks he's in charge of all this. Rhea Ripley steals a contract, and all of a sudden she's in it. I'm tired of these babies around here. You know what, Nick? You think Chelsea Green is bad? You think Chelsea Green is the worst you got to deal with on SmackDown? Come on Raw to a night. Don't come on Raw, but come on Raw tonight.
Blackface Miz ass comments.
And let's see how you like it.
Nick Aldis should show up and just mess everything up. Just create absolute havoc because he runs the opposite. Like he runs the opposing brand. He should be trying to screw the things up. Ava should be in the role tonight because she should be, this is kayfabe. She should be trying out to be a general manager on Raw or SmackDown in the future. Why is Nick Aldis stepping in as the general manager of the opposition to run the show? What? So you can show that he runs it better? Both shows run similarly, and like in terms of prestige or whatever you want to call it, in terms of importance, like Aldis showing up, he should just mess everything up. He should legit just be like, oh, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez, loser leaves WWE. Pat McAfee addresses his attack of Gunther. Gunther, I'm reinstating you, and you're going to face Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee has both hands tied behind his back. No, not the other way around. Pat McAfee, you son of a bitch. You deserve to get the shit knocked out of you. So, Gunther, you beat up Pat McAfee. Becky Lynch, welcome back. I'm going to shake your hand. You're the best. I hope you can come and join us on SmackDown. Explain your actions and why you betrayed Lyra Valkyria. You're the best, Becky Lynch. I love you. And then Logan Paul comes out and he's like, no, he's not. You're fired. That's actually for everyone's else. That's for everyone else's sake. And then Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, and Braun Breaker. He's going to be like, I sign you all to SmackDown. That's what you're going to do now. You want to know what your next steps are? You come to SmackDown.
This is tampering.
It's not tampering. It's doing. He's been brought in to do this job tonight. He's been tampered with.
It should be all this. It should be all this trying to do a good job to show that Raw ain't that chaotic and he has it under control, unlike Adam Pearce. and then it should still be chaotic. And then it cuts to Adam Pearce sipping on his Mai Tai. Been like, ain't so easy around here, is it? And then they bond over the mana, and that's that.
Nick Aldis should just have every single SmackDown wrestler come in and win. It's like, oh, change of plans. Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez is now Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. Nia Jax is going over, brother.
Oh, you can't enforce who goes over.
Oh, well, yes, you can now.
He's got to clear it with The Rock first.
That's true. I'm on the phone with my buddy Dwayne, and he says to me, oh, it's just awful. Yeah, Nick Aldis is going to play Fiend during the whole show.
Rule. Fiend.
Anyway, that's Raw for tonight.
Fiend.
So yeah, Nick Aldis will be all over the show. If everyone's going to be like, where's Adam Pearce? And they're going to be like, who cares? And that's going to be it. Then they're going to move on with their lives. We're back tomorrow. Do you have anything to plug? Who's the third man? Who's the third man?
Who is the third man? It's going to suck when it's just DDP. I hope it's something funny. Don't let me down, Hogan and Bischoff. You never have before.
It's going to be David Arquette.
That would rule.
It'd be hilarious. I got one last in me, brother. Jeremy, do the thing so we can get out of here.
What thing?
They're all, dude, come on. They're all saying, do the thing.
Oh, I wasn't going to do it, but all right.
Come on, you do it for the monkeys. Come on. Play for the
monkeys.
What? What?
They're friends, Joel.
Oh.
All the names?
We were talking about gorillas all day.
I like everybody in the chat. You are not monkeys. Joel is being very mean. He's very mad. He's very mad.
Do not go to the papers and write that I'm mad. I am not mad. Do not tell the papers that I am mad. Play the clip, Jeremy Lambert.
Why are you okay, Joel?
I'm actually hungry. That's really what it comes down to. Someone's saying, that's how you feel, Joel? You're all puppets to me. Never cared about any of you.
He's so mad. It's okay.
Nick Aldis is going to move Chelsea Green back to Raw. I think that would be hilarious. Just at the end of the day. Be funny. Yeah, he's like, I left you a potting gift, and all of a sudden it's Chelsea Green in a red, white, and blue box.
And Joel's taking the fun out of the clip now. Was that your end game, to take the fun out of the clip?
Did it work?
By calling everybody monkeys?
Did it work?
Absolutely not.
Nah. You know who he is. You know who I am. Jeremy and SB3 are here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, leave a thumbs up on the way out. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.